Yeah, what can I say? I look at this 9Pandas lineup and I'm confused. I'll just be honest. I'm always, I feel like I say this every time I see a lineup that I don't really get. I'm ready to be surprised and I'm blown away by what they're trying to do. But to me, there's just something about this that looks weird. Like the core combination, Morph, Mirana, Timber. You don't really have any catch on your supports. And the enemy team has a mid-Quap and a support Spirit Breaker that I feel like are just going to be having a field day in this game. Like, they can be all over the place together. Mirana doesn't like the Spirit Breaker matchup in general, and she's in a core role this game, so that's annoying for her. Bloodseeker against mobile cores, Mirana, Timber, and Morph.
Yep.
I like
look at this.
I like what Gaimin's got, so I want to see 9Pandas put on some early pressure, as they are with Antares here.
Well, we did cast quite a few 9Pandas games at the Major, and
they owned with Bounty.
This young man, Antares, on the Bounty, was maybe the most impactful early game hero of the entire tournament, if you include all the teams. He was crazy good, so I think that's going to be required to make this weird lineup work out.
100% agreed with that. The thing is, I think his conditions at the Major were different, though. I think he had better pairings to play the map with, and also better matchups in the game in general. But we'll see. My concern in this top lane is Bounty can be annoying in the start, but I think when Bloodseeker hits level 3, he's probably largely just going to be farming here and having a pretty good time. But for now, they're putting on the pressure that they can, as he should. Mid lane, Timber against Quap. I think this lane is... I actually haven't seen this too much. I would say my gut says it's pretty even. Timber is going to level up his armor and just sustain, and with the changes making him a universal hero, he has much better base damage against Quap than he used to, so he should be able to just stand there and farm. At the same time, he doesn't really ever pressure Queen very much, so they're both just going to be having a fine time here. And in the bot lane, this is the one I think could be the most lopsided. I actually really like Morph's chances in this one. Against Medusa and Spirit Breaker together with Witch Doctor, I think there's a possibility for kills here. And, of course, more than anything, he has better base damage than Medusa, and it's just going to ramp up, and they can't really pressure him that hard, I think. So Ramses should be the biggest winner in all of this.
And your thoughts on Medusa being off lane, which obviously the last time you and I cast off lane Medusa, she was a bit better than she is now.
Yeah.
They did nerf her a little bit. It wasn't crazy, as Antares has to pop the Fairy Fire, it looks like, to live.
Big damage there from Celery. Yeah, I don't really know where I stand with Medusa right now, to be honest. I think the hero has its moments. I was honestly surprised to see Gaimin Gladiators first phase it. They must rate it higher than other teams, and just in general then... Yeah, it's definitely fallen a little bit out of favor compared to what it used to, but they might see some interesting, like, facets to the hero in terms of like the flex in particular. As an offlaner, I guess you just go the phylactery, right? It's pretty straightforward. It's also what Ace is eyeing up here, so the standard approach that we saw, I want to say pioneered by 33 at the Major, with incredible success, of course.
Who do you think is the best phylactery hero in the game? Because we have another one on this side in Bounty.
Bounty is very good, but the problem is Bounty a lot of the times doesn't get it at the right time because he doesn't acquire the gold fast enough.
Well, he wants the Lotus, but they force him out.
And a lot of the time also has to get other items for the team than the selfish item that phylactery is, kind of. Who's the best one? That's a very good question.
Yep, who
do we have in the last game with the... I think...
Visage.
Visage is better.
Yep, I've seen some pub axes do it. Not great.
Axe?
It can actually ruin your Culling Blade. But it's good with Battle Hunger.
Why would you buy it on Axe?
Well, theoretically, it adds damage to your Culling Blade in a way, but at a certain threshold, if they're low enough, if you can kill the hero with Phylactery, then your Culling Blade goes on cooldown, which is really bad.
And it doesn't hit.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Correct.
Yeah.
But with Battle Hunger, it's good.
I like so far the conversations we've had about items and new tech that you're talking about are both Axe-related.
Yeah.
The one with the Arcane Blink is a lot better than Phylactery. I'm gonna give a big fat doubt to Phylactery.
Don't knock it till you tried it, all right?
That's
We have a bash here into the charge from Tofu.
How many thousand MMR did you lose in the last couple of months?
I don't think I have not tried that build, actually. I've just heard of it. It sounds hilarious. It's the only reason I brought it up, of course.
Yeah, where did you hear from that?
I don't know, actually. Probably some Twitch chat stream.
Oh, yeah, that sounds par for the course.
Yeah, so Dyrachyo, 21-6 right now in the safe lane. You can see 25-10 in the bot lane for Ramses, so he's having himself a time in that lane. I mean, both position ones are doing fine now. Dyrachyo obviously getting harassed big time in this lane overall, but
it will stabilize over time. Bounty is falling off here, and Bloodseeker will start to get more points in Thirst, and then...
I mean, how much gank potential does Antares have for the mid lane? As Dust is going to be popped, looks like they want to pursue this a little further. Bloodright is there as well. Antares resigned to his death as the first blood goes the way of Dyrachyo.
Gank potential mid? I mean, not really, right? That's also part of the thing about the Bounty pick in this game is he has pretty bad targets. You're not ganking Quap with Timber, and you're probably not... I mean, you can definitely gank the Medusa. I would say that's your most likely kill is take the gate and go bot. I don't know how good it feels to do that. And now that Medusa is sitting on the first healing Lotus, which is actually very important for the state of this bot lane, that gank might not be that easy to pull off anyway. Yeah. Tofu is probably dead here.
Yeah, Maledict is ticking. Another Adaptive Strike. And is he going to live?
Oh, he's going to die while TPing. That's really...
Oh, my goodness.
He made that?
That was like... I don't know what the milliseconds would be.
That was
very few milliseconds.
Yeah, that's ballsy. It's honestly it's one of those risk-reward things, right? Where you're Spirit Breaker, so you can charge back to lane.
You talked about the gank, and it's hilarious seeing a Medusa go from full to zero.
Yeah.
Just because I hate seeing that hero in general. Is Quinn looking for the rune? It's going to be bottom, and it's a double damage. It's going to be secured for the side of 9Pandas, though.
I wonder if Antares will actually take this. No, he won't. Kiyotaka will grab it. Doesn't have bottles, so it doesn't have like the most value for Timber to grab this.
Yeah, but he's universal.
He is.
It's base damage.
Bounty with that DD could maybe go, you know, and make something happen bot again.
Yep, true.
So I don't actually agree with this choice of giving it to Timber. I feel like this is just nonsensical. Like, he's going to farm this wave anyway. There's no opponent hero here, so this was just a free wave regardless. Maybe he's going to do a little bit of tickling with the tower here. That's at least something. But Antares with a DD here could have been a big threat to the Medusa.
Yeah. He's got his Chakram ready to go as well. Both Quinn and Kiyotaka level 6.
This is great. Okay, so Tofu has a sentry. Oh, Antares is actually going to give it away here. So now this...
He has another stun. Oh. All right, well, they split the Wisdom Runes. This was a comical 1v1 affair for the supports. And they're going to back away because neither do any damage at all.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised Tofu didn't put down the sentry there and just stand on top of the rune. But he felt confident that he could spare that sentry and just charge through the rune, and it worked. So, well done there. And now he's going to put some pressure. Oh, that's a good bash right there onto Antares. Now they have this sentry plus Blood Grenade. But not going to be quite enough. Bounty Hunter, one of the heroes with the highest base armor in the game.
He has a great body.
Yes.
If he was in a custom game, he'd probably be like a B tier just for his stats, I would say. As Solo's going to spot Celery, has that healing salve going, which will be canceled now.
Celery doesn't enchant, so he will get away, but that was not far from a kill, actually.
Yeah, can't heal himself, though, as Antares showing himself mid now, getting off another stun thanks to the Shadow Walk. But the charge from Tofu is enough.
Nope.
Although Solo's there, okay, never mind. I pulled a Cinder in everybody. Apologies, I really regret that.
That's not going to catch on.
Yeah, pulled a Cinder in again. You just pulled yourself.
Saying it again isn't going to make it any better.
Yep. As Kiyotaka in the mid lane. Still pressuring his tower. It's already at half HP, so doing a nice job. But yeah, with Quinn in the mid lane, with the Bounty Hunter, it's going to be very difficult to actually get that kill because, like you talked about, their lockdown not really that great.
Yeah, Solo
is fine.
Could have Sonicked for that, but I think it's fine to hold it and look for a better kill. Antares and Miro, this is a...
they dust. The Sonic Wave comes through, and Quinn finishes off the Bounty.
Instant punish. They even TP'd into Racho for a bit of a chase down here on Miro.
Yeah, he's got his leap, though.
He has no more charges. They could dive this. They will.
Yep, Scream of Pain and the Rupture. He's like, I came to the mid lane. I'm going to get something out of it. Actually gets the kill as well, does Dyrachyo. Quinn, in the meantime, he's actually going to get bursted as Solo actually gets credit for that one, but Kiyotaka doing more of the damage there.
That's a very good trade overall for 9Pandas to lose their Mirana for the Queen there. Keep in mind that while all this is happening, Ramses is completely free farming on the Morph. Bloodseeker TP rotated to be a part of this move, so as a result, they will more or less equalize in terms of net worth now, despite Bloodseeker being ahead by a kill and having the first blood from top.
Yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Terry's showing himself again, as the arrow is just going to be avoided there from Celery, so he will get the kill onto the bounty again. As Tofu, Maledict is applied. And Solo and company going to be joined by Quinn, who finishes off Solo quickly. So that's 2 supports dead for 9Pandas, and did require a little bit of effort from Gaimin to take them out. But like you said, Ramses just free farming in this bot lane. 73 CS already.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Going to be finishing off the Yasha very shortly. Ace does have the phylactery, as you can see.
I mean, honestly, this is one of the biggest upsides to Morph in this game that we haven't really talked about. He's one of the few carries that can actually just withstand this, right? He can actually stand there and keep getting phylacteried all day because of the Morbid Mask and just morphing up and down. So most carries at this point have to evacuate and go jungle. But Ramses can play lane as well as the small camp close to lane. So
yep, charge. Tofu actually hits 2 heroes. Dyrachyo already used the Rupture earlier, so they can't really combo anything. But with Celery coming in, perhaps they turn this into a push on the tier 1 top. As Maelstrom now online for Dyrachyo.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And it looks like the tower will be taken out. Rally creeps are there as well.
Radiant structures.
a bit of a glyph.
We'll delay a bit with the fortification,
See,
but
we get a deny here from Miro. Not even going to try. Scared of... Actually, there's no rupture, so... But
just scared in general.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
still not really... I have to say, we're now 11 minutes in. I'm not seeing the value of the Mirana pick yet. He has 32 CS, which is very low at this game state. Doesn't have the Atos, not even close.
I mean, they don't have the setup for the stun or for the arrow at all, but you can kill Celery's creeps. But I don't know how big of a deal that is.
Yeah.
As Celery, speaking of which, Kiyotaka is going to show himself. There's the setup. It's called the body block, Cinderin.
Yep.
That's how you get it. Kiyotaka with the kill. And nobody's shown anything in this bot lane to try to harass Mr. Ramses, as again, just left to his own devices. But actually, he's not even the top net worth on his team. It's Kiyotaka owning it up. Antares, though, he's charged, he's dusted. They will find this kill eventually. Don't want to use the Sonic Wave, so the Scream of Pain is enough.
A nice grab here for Quinn as well, having this haste rune. It's actually a very valuable rune for Queen of Pain, because one of the problems this hero has in this state of the game is that you can't really blink in offensively in a lot of situations because you have to be worried about your escape plan. When you have haste rune, you can go to different lengths as Quap with your aggressive plays because you can still get out after blinking in. So might not feel like the most intuitive, such an amazing rune for the hero, but I would actually say it's absolutely one of the best ones. We'll see if he can find a way to make use of it. He's completely dry on resources now, so he's going to push out this mid wave, probably go base. And I'm curious which move he's going to make. You want to put this rune to use to open up a tower, I feel like. Either mid or bot. Okay, Celery going for a very interesting path here. I'm going to predict
quite the chase.
He's probably not surviving this.
Yep, Death Ward. Okay, he's at half HP. I mean, he's wasting a lot of time, which...
This is vintage Celery, by the way. Viking GG Celery... Playing Ench.
All right, now he's put himself in a corner. The horsey to the high ground. Next to some trees, though, and that means Kiyotaka can eventually find him. That was the top net worth in the game in the Timber Saw, but
if you
because of the chase.
high-fiving and then you die, the tower auto high-fives you?
Yes. Ramses attempting to TP out.
Fine.
Will be fine.
Yep.
And yes, they do.
Okay.
Solo?
Not fine.
He was not fine. Asking very important... I wouldn't even call that a mechanic question. It's a high-five. It's a cosmetic question in the middle of a team fight.
That's your favorite question.
That's true. Yeah, but I did know the answer, of course.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised you don't know that one. That one's common sense.
What?
Yep. Well, when do you think the tower high-fives you?
After a certain time, it high-fives you back. He started high-fiving and then he died, and then the tower high-fived his corpse.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I was like, why did that high five?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't even listening to your question.
That's fine. I knew that. And then...
I just assume I know everything, you know?
What a... Yeah.
Ace. Oh, he's surrounded. He gets stunned. No mana to use Stone Gaze, but then pops the Mystic Snake and back to half again.
Nothing wrong here.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Perfectly normal.
He's now dying.
Yeah. His ult's still on cooldown for another 25 seconds, so he will eventually... Track kill.
This hero, man.
Track kill.
It's quite something, isn't it? Well, they get him. It's a track kill, and they're probably going to get some serious damage on this tower.
What do you think of the Boots of Travel right after Phylactery?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's very Ace-like to do something like this, I would say. He's always, as an offlaner, he's always been one of the guys that prioritizes wave clearing and being greedy the most. And this time around, which is kind of rare for Ace in this patch, I would say, he's playing a hero that doesn't buy auras. So he gets to tap into that lost part of himself that goes and farms a lot and fights less. Saying that, he still has been farming a lot in this patch when he's playing his aura offlaners as well, but his itemization has obviously been way more team-oriented. And that begs the question, what do you do now as Dusa? When you go for the Travels build after Phylactery, what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish next? Is it empowering teammates?
Well, Tofu's dead.
Oh, very dead there.
Quinn was looking to potentially use the Sonic Wave. They're going to wait it out. Rupture on the Kiyotaka. Timber Change just out of the blood right, but he's taking a lot of damage. A nice Sonic Wave on the 3 that finishes off the Timber Saw, and the bounty falls shortly after.
That was genuine.
Now the chase continues. Oh my goodness, Doraccio.
Well,
wow.
He's known as one of the most aggressive carries in the world, and he has these moments sometimes where, you know, you just get overzealous and you go too far, but the things that you don't see is how much of his gameplay actually, how much pressure the enemy team is under constantly because of this aggression. But, you know, it's easy to laugh at the moments when things go wrong, but just as many times as this is just a blunder, just as many times it puts so insane pressure on the map that you can't really truly understand unless you play in the game. That one, though, was... It's also easy for us because we saw all the heroes, right? But
well, I would argue, regardless of the outcome, it's entertaining either way.
Absolutely.
I don't care either way.
Very fun player to watch. High highs, low lows, and that time around just walked into the high ground, got Atos by Mirana, and eaten alive by Morph. So I don't know if he didn't know about the Atos. It's a very late one, so it might have been the reveal from Miro. I don't know if we've seen it until that point. But either way, we'll die and we'll now retreat to the jungle, finish his BKB, and then next time, this move is suddenly not risky anymore.
Now the smoke from Gaimin, getting some wards down. Kiyotaka spots out part of it. Quinn not able to find anybody initially as the arrow scouts out a bit from Miero. They're just going to clean up the triangle of sorts now and likely back away.
All right, that's an early Ags for Ramses.
Oh, that's very early.
Reckon he's going to turn into the Bloodseeker most of the time, steal away, and then...
What about the Spirit Breaker? That's an old classic as solo.
There's just too much
to be dead.
Oh, he will do it
Charge
this time.
Coming in, yep, Ramses. Oh my god, Quinn gets destroyed. Ace pops the Stone Gaze, but not really going to find anybody initially as the Rupture now to the Timber Saw. Just walking it off, gets a nice Whirling Death off as well. Can't get to the high ground as Doraccio trying to get the kill. He finally does. Now they're going to try to turn this around onto the Morphling, but waveform to the high ground. Miero and company trying to set up another potential kill here, but Miero's taking most of the damage. The Mystic Snake and the Impeti, let's say, are enough to get the kill on the support Mirana. Bloodright to get away, but the waveform. Accelerate still tracked up.
Adaptive?
Adaptive to finish him off.
Okay.
Ramses is having a monstrous game.
This is a pretty even exchange. Yeah, turning into Spirit Breaker, they're obviously instrumental, just blasting the Queen of Pain. And you love that rivalry. Ramses really out to get Quinn at every turn.
Of course.
But yeah, considering he bought Ags, you would think that he wants to turn into the Bloodseeker most of the time for the Ags value. But Spirit Breaker is just such an amazing target a lot of the time. Wow. Okay, that's, yeah, Bounty hates this matchup. The Spirit Breaker matchup is one of Bounty's absolute worst. Seen it multiple times this game. You just get charged and you have no escape. And considering we were talking about Antares on the Bounty Hunter looking outstanding at the major, basically being unstoppable, this is not his game.
I think a big part of it is the mid laner was mobile.
Yeah.
Like,
first of all,
ganking the Quap is super difficult. And the games that we cast, he had impact on all 3 lanes during the laning stage.
Yep. And in this time, Gaimin Gladiators specifically drafted around it, right? They made hard to gank lanes. They made a Medusa side lane.
Ato stop.
Plus a Quap mid. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Gets off the Stone Gaze.
Possibly
has
fine here,
very
actually.
little mana, but looks like it's enough.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Just press your ult and run.
And that'll be up, it's not the longest cooldown either, another 70 seconds. So it will be a Manta style, which, I mean, it's not like that's a crazy item on the Medusa, but still, we question Boots of Travel, super greedy. It still looks like the standard after the fact.
Is the mindset here for Gladiators that they're just going to go super late, maybe? Like, they want Ace as well as Dyrachyo to just become carry monsters? He's going Ags next, so he will still be playing the Mystic Snake focused build rather than true right-click carry. With this...
Would be an interesting game to see him. I mean, maybe he just gets it from the Tormentor, but buying the Shard could be pretty good against the Bounty Hunter track. Once you get that Ags, of course. Although it doesn't bounce, but, I mean, you get the guaranteed stun essentially on Bounty.
Yeah, when you have the Scepter, the Shard gets a lot better. But still ways away here. Still relatively quiet game. I feel like it's hard to say who this really favors because it's an outstanding Morphling game, as Kezu pointed out on the panel. Like, there's not much stopping him later. It's only really the Spirit Breaker that can be a thorn in your side when he gets especially a Shadow Blade. Aside from that, he has information all the time. And, okay, Voodoo Switcheroo here from Solo.
Voodoo Switcheroo into death. The Rupture was used prior to that. Dyrachyo gets the kill and runs away safely. Mira also falls.
Oh, yeah.
So both supports for 9Pandas.
And this should also lead to a tower. This 3v5 is not playable. You're just going to concede the area, and a nice move from Gaimin Gladiators. And I think, again, we talked about this pre-game, but this is going to be the biggest challenge of 9Pandas right now, is breaking something open, right? It feels like a lot of the time in this game when they've got trades, it's because Gaimin Gladiators make the first move, because you kind of, for the most part, you can't, right? A lot of their kills have been return kills, like the Mirana turning around on someone with the Timber Saw, or getting a good Witch Doctor combo off and Morph comes in and cleans up, but most of the initiation is Gaimin Gladiators. So if you're not playing tight and you get caught off, you don't really have good responses to show up on time to help, and Gaimin will take advantage of that this time around. All right, 22-minute Wisdom Rune here for Bounty, so a minute late, but it's still there. Gaimin had other business to attend to bottom, so didn't go and grab that.
Would you say teams are less interested or more interested or neutral in Tormentors since the patch has come out? Less interested than before. Why is that?
It's a good question. I genuinely... I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I think very lineup dependent. Okay, Celery's in trouble here.
Yeah, Kiyotaka gets the kill. He's going to get ruptured, though. He pops that reactive armor Aghanim Scepter.
Missed the chain.
Likely try to walk this off. Dyrachyo pops the BKB, but not really dodging much as Voodoo Switcheroo is used. So the BKB not really going to help out too much, but they do get the kill onto the Witch Doctor nonetheless as Tofu trying to keep the rest at bay. Gets off the Nether Strike back into the Blood Right. Nicely done. Double kill for Dyrachyo. It's a 2-for-1 in Gaimin's favor. Miro looks like he's out.
Tofu was a little closer. That was not happening, but... Yeah, I think so about the Tormentors. I think, first of all, it's very lineup dependent how relevant the Shard is, but it's also the amount of resources you need to expend to it, the way you kind of concede a bit of map control to go there unless you're stealing the one from the enemy. It's a lot of uncertainty, basically, I guess is a way to put it. And you can... It's not important to kill it exactly at 20, right? You can kill it 2 minutes later. Like, it's not that crucial that you are on the money right when it spawns. So, you see the replay of the fight here. That's a nice Nether Strike combo. Of course, gets a tip from Celery instantly, and that's the end of that. So 3K lead now for Gaimin.
Yep, as Roche. It's not... It's actually going to be contested for once. It's a nice charge onto 2 heroes from Tofu, but another Voodoo Switcheroo means they can't target him at all. Solo takes the Mystic Snake, but Kiyotaka is the one they really want. The impetuses are doing so much damage. He still has that reactive armor. Blows up finally. It's going to be enough to actually take out Quinn, but shortly after the Timber does fall. Ace, in the meantime, he's tracked and slowed perpetually. He's going to be surrounded by most of 9Pandas. Still continuing to get mana thanks to the Mystic Snake, but you'd think this is eventually will be enough, and it is. Double kill for Ramses, and now they can be the ones that finish off Roche.
This Morphling is starting to become a really big problem for Gaimin. And again, it's kind of the same script, right? Gaimin initiates a fight. If they don't clean it up immediately, the turnaround potential from the Morphling is just extreme. You're going to see the replay here. So really nice Force Staff to get Tofu out of trouble to begin with, and Kiyotaka repositions here, and now Quinn pursues in to get this kill on Timber, but just not quite enough in the tank. They finally get him with the impetus shots, but this fight is already over. Duracio didn't really get to play his hero that fight, it felt like. He ruptured and then he just got blasted. If the enemy heroes aren't low enough, if Morph gets on top of him, the Scotty's low, they're not getting out.
And Ramses now has the Aegis to work with. He is 5-0-3, so it'll be even more difficult to take out considering he's twice, and we'll be getting, I believe, yeah, that's just going to be a Manta, so just a couple hundred away.
Yep. Can break out of Blood Right if that becomes a problem. Can split push, just more damage overall. It's a feels good item on Morph. It's always been. Double leap will get away, but still really does feel like this Mirana has been.
Yes.
It's also not really a, how to say, it's not like a traditional Miera hero, I would say. He's playing it fine, but I'm still a bit puzzled about the reasoning behind it. It would be interesting if we got an interview with them to try. I mean, maybe they're not going to spill any beans, right? But like just trying to understand what we're missing here to appreciate, because the Bounty Hunter pairing isn't particularly good. Like this lane wasn't anything special. They did lose it. Despite his team looking really good now with the Morphling, Miero is still far behind on net worth, only showing a Gleipnir now, 26 minutes in. Doesn't really have much to show, but it is still, I guess so far so good for 9Pandas. Whether it was the best pick or not, doesn't really matter at the end of the day if they are going to end up winning the game off the back of their Morph.
Do you remember how the drafts materialized, like what the order was?
I don't remember when exactly the Mirana was picked either, but it's like, as you mentioned, it's good against Ench creeps, right? Maybe that was it. Like maybe they just wanted that more than anything else. Celery's
yep, they want Celery. They'll take him out very quickly.
He's buying Tranks. Interesting. That's a very late Tranquil boot, but oh, never mind. He wants Boost of Bearing. Okay. Standard then.
And these illusions, as you can see, are ridiculously tanky for some reason.
I'll die eventually.
This is part of the game for some reason.
Like, why bother, almost? But, yeah. Well, this mid tower's gone. Ramses is, for the most part right now, kind of just unstoppable for Gaimin Gladiators. They do not have the tools to deal with this Morph. He's approaching a 5k net worth lead against the enemy carry. The hero-to-hero matchups are just amazing for Morph. He can turn into Spirit Breaker, as we talked about. He can turn into Quap and get Blink. He can turn into Bloodseeker and drain his stats. Just really nice. Well, if there's one constant in Dota, though, it is that every X minutes, Bounty Hunter has to die to Spirit Breaker. That's just Dota.
Yeah, that's a sacrifice I think they're willing to make, as long as it doesn't cost them much more. Duracio is when he found out.
Yeah, it has to be.
They'll be fine. But yeah, this Morphling is looking quite untouchable at the moment. And looking at Gaimin, I mean, their cores, like Quinn hasn't had much impact on this game. One of the few games he hasn't had impact on. He's going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter. He's about halfway there right now. Feels like it's all Duracio and maybe a little of Ace's Medusa. Especially if you can get a couple more items. It actually changed his mind. It's not the Aghanim Scepter, he's just going Scotty. So recognizing they just don't have the impact that they're looking for potentially from these cores, so just building quote-unquote normal carry Medusa.
Yeah, I think the mindset is they need a way to eventually beat Morph, right? The writing on the wall here is that Morphling is becoming absolutely unbeatable, so they have to deviate from the original plan to target him in particular. Because even if, let's say the other item is better against every other hero in the game, I would still make the case that Scotty's a better purchase because he's the #1 problem. And there's a little bit of, bonuses to having it. It's definitely not bad against Timber to have a bit of Scotty healing reduction and slow. Against Witch Doctor with Mech, Holy Locket, and level 4 heal definitely helps. All these things just add up, and once you're committed to this path, you're not gonna stray from it anymore. So he's queuing up the Butterfly next. Now you're going full carry on the Dusa.
Yeah, just gotta 20 minutes, he's going to delete that phylactery.
Yeah. Eventually he will sell it for sure.
Oh, Ramsey's going to run right into his rival. It's Quinn! He backtracks just to make sure that he can watch him die, and he does.
Oh, he blinked to farm, but there's all the heroes were already
there. There's a Quinn here.
Yeah, that
tasty.
9Pandas were definitely not expecting that. They were just like, oh, nice, a snack. It was very, their house is waiting for us. Like, it's just a matter of time. Like,
that was so delayed.
Yeah. I think Ramses forgot who he was playing as. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, Quinn blinking to that camp.
That's what you get for not looking me in the eye in the elevator the one time. Because apparently that's normal to look at someone's eyes that I don't normally talk to in the elevator. I hate you. I hate your guts.
I love that that's like a sign of disrespect. I'm just like imagining going into elevators in the future, and every time I go in an elevator, I just stare at everyone. I think that would be way more uncomfortable if I did that. Just like people you've never met before, just literally stare them down. This is my elevator now.
Celery on the run, but he's going to get casked and destroyed.
See you later.
I mean, 9Pandas only with a 4K lead right now, so it's not anything crazy, and it is against a Medusa that is turning into kind of the carry, and a Bloodseeker as well.
I think the concern here is that with Ace going this carry build, the one downside Medusa has as a carry is that she never really does very significant single target damage, right? Medusa has always been a split damage carry with split shot and just focusing on the on-hit effects that you have, but Morphling is just the perfect carry against that playstyle. He has so much single target damage himself, he has a ton of lifesteal, so your split shot doesn't matter to him. So even if this Medusa gets huge, I think Morph can still, if he solves Bloodseeker, he can just ignore Medusa's existence, I think. Unless Ace gets something like Rapier plus crit, it's not gonna do enough. Morph has 42 armor and 2.5k health on max Agi. Like, it's not an issue. All right, interesting play here from Solo.
Yeah, just making sure his shard works. He's getting charged now.
When I do this in my pub games, I'm a feeder. When Solo does it, it's genius.
Yeah, Antares is here, though. He gets a track off, so see if they can try to do something with this. Pops the mech, but Solo will eventually die because there's 5 members of Gaimin Gladiators here.
That's a bit too crazy.
Charge from Ramses, turns to the Spirit Breaker temporarily. Waveform's away as well. So that's a death of the Enchantress. Witch Doctor buys back into the game. Ramsey's getting pretty low to Dyrachyo, who pops that BKB. Has the Blood Mist as well. There's a Sonic Wave from his rival, Quinn. He looked directly in his face this time and got the kill as a result. You got to have confidence, Cinder. Got to look them right in the eye. Kiyotaka, in the meantime, getting chased a bit. Quinn, with all the confidence in the world because of the eye contact. Yeah, a little bit of misspell here, but Kiyotaka looks like he might fall eventually. Outside the Blood Right, dies to it, actually. A little overconfidence there, apparently.
Yeah, Kiyotaka tried to stare Quinn right in the eye, so he couldn't see where he was throwing his chain.
Yes.
And missed the trees
there. A
there.
little miscalculation there, but that's okay.
Wait, can we get a replay? I really wonder what happened to Ramsey. So he turned into Spirit Breaker.
Yes.
And then
he waveformed through the charge,
He waveformed through the charge, and he was just fighting the Bloodseeker one-on-one, just laying into him with Satanic, and he never charged, I think? Did he? I think he never turned back into the Spirit Breaker. I feel like if you have that available there, you turn into SB and you charge through the entire enemy team, you don't die there, I think. So maybe that was a blunder, maybe I missed something, but either way, absolutely huge for Gaimin Gladiators to finally find a way to take him out. He was 7-0, and they find the kill in that fight.
Should mention that Dyrachyo, on top of the Blood Mist, has his shard as well, so Blood Rage is doing pure damage to a tanky target like Morphling makes a huge difference.
All right.
Another strike. That's enough to take out Antares. Tofu looks like he might be the trade. It's going to be close. Does fall. But bottom lane is where all the action is. As the tower has fallen. Rupture already used.
It had been 3
Snake off
minutes,
as well.
so.
Gleipnir hits it onto 2. Death Ward to follow. Dyrachyo has to reset. As Ace still has Stone Gaze, doesn't really need to pop it though because it's a Medusa.
Well, let's
There's
see
the
how
Boots
far
of
this
Bearing.
goes on.
Mystic Snake continuing. There's the Stone Gaze to make sure that the rest of his team can get away. Ramses turns into his rival Quap. Quinn's going to be able to get out. And Ace looks to be fine as well. Now we have the replay. Okay,
Yeah, so he turns. Let me see here.
So he was Spirit Breaker before this. Waveforms through.
He has charge now.
Yeah.
He's just I feel like there's a play here where you morph and you charge the Spirit Breaker in the back.
Right. Stone Gaze was there as well, though, right?
I think he would have made it in time. I mean, it's always hard to do, right? You're turning into morph using Satanic. You kind of really want Satanic value, right? So it's a really tough call to make. Didn't really look like a blunder, just a tough situation.
Oh my God, Dyrachyo surrounded, pops his BKB, gets the Rupture off on Kiyotaka.
Oh, they're going to run him down here, all right?
Looking for the Gleipnir initiation. Actually connects onto 3 heroes, it looks like, as Tofu gets off the nice charge. Sonic Wave to follow. That's going to be a dead Mirana. Good Death Ward coming out, though, but Ramsey's sticking the brunt of the damage from Dyrachyo. The right clicks are too much. The pure damage is ripping him a new one. 3 dead for 9Pandas. As Kiyotaka is staying alive. He might be the only one alive for 9Pandas very shortly. Indeed, that's the case. Trying to put out as much damage as he can. He did take out the Bloodseeker earlier, but eventually he will fall. Oh my God! He actually got that kill somehow. Timber Chain TP. No.
Okay.
Mystic Snake is there.
Way.
Triple kill for Ace, who is now the top net worth on Gaimin Gladiators.
Shannon, I knew this day would eventually come. I knew this day would eventually come.
Yes.
Blood Mist is winning the game.
Senator, what do you mean we had this conversation.
Oh,
I'm the one that said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it just needed. After 7 buffs.
Yeah, it's micro buffs after
ultimately, everything in Dota gets good. It will happen.
Man.
And the damage that he's outputting in these fights on the Bloodseeker, it's really meaningful. He did 7K in that fight. And keep in mind, he died as one of the first heroes in his team. Nobody ever caught up to him. That 7K damage is including the follow-up 2 kills that they got later. Just absolutely insane output from Dyrachyo in that fight. It's going to net them an Aegis, which I hope they don't put on Medusa. Probably just put it on Quinn here.
There's the cheese, though.
Oh, arrow on Celery. He did get the cheese. Well, he's tracked now. It doesn't really matter. I think it put this cheese on Bloodseeker. It's actually it's extremely good on him when he's running Blood Mist.
Yeah, it is.
So would love to see him receive that cheese. And Gaimin Gladiators starting to, I'm not going to say they're taking control of the game. It still feels like anyone's game, to be honest. Like, this lead is definitely meaningful, but for me, the Aegis is a bigger deal than any 1,000 net worth lead right now.
Yep. Well, now he's dead.
It's been 3 minutes. It's a universal constant now. 11 deaths in 37. That's
dead
pretty
for
much
a full minute. Is that a dieback technically?
He's level 18, so I don't think so.
I guess that's true.
Pretty high level. He's rocking the Sir Action Slacks build on Bounty Hunter, as a matter of fact. He's
more boots?
He's a third of the way. He needs boots of travel, treads, phase boots, and brown boots. Yeah. Then he's there, so
close.
Eventually we'll get there. Slacks, of course, would have never bought Force Staff because that's a team item.
Understandable. Yeah.
Here we go. High ground time. Arrow will miss. And okay, this is a hard fight to access as Pandas. You need to be very clever about your
these
angles.
illusions are absurd.
Yep, they give full vision. They're hitting everyone. And that's the tower gone. You need to find a flank here.
This is the position 3 Medusa, which is now your carry.
Well, she's top net worth, so is she really past 3?
She was at some point.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. A melee Rax. Well, they have the Rupture going off here.
It's going to take the Rax with no contest here, and probably... Okay. Ace TPing out in full vision. This is hunting season.
Yep, it's time.
I don't know about that one. Lincolns, okay.
Yeah, they're going to try for it.
All right, Ace is back.
That was quick. That was a quick TP. Quinn getting caught off guard. Gets arrow to the face. He's already at half HP. Gets a Sonic Wave onto 3 heroes, including Ramses. But it looks like Gaimin Gladiators is going to lose their Spirit Breaker. He buys back into the game. Can get back pretty quickly as Kiyotaka pops that shard, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to die as well. 4 dead in the blink of an eye for 9Pandas, making a full team wipe, and GGs are called. Gaimin come back. Damn. One of the few comebacks we've seen on this patch, I feel like, and it's an entertaining one.
It's one of those things where I feel like 9Pandas are probably a little bit confused and surprised, just as we are, about. It's like Bloodseeker all of a sudden just hit a threshold. When he got that Ags plus Butterfly, he just swung across, like he just it just pushed him over the edge. It just went from doing okay to starting to hard carry fights, and obviously, as you mentioned, Ace was starting to become a huge threat, but I really felt like Ramses had this one in the bag, and then he dies one time, he dies the second time, and the game has just swung 180 very, very quickly. It's got to be a bit of a frustrating loss, the way they lost that.
Yeah, and some of the questions that the panel and yourself had